All right, and we're back.
And we're back.
Hello, folks.
Hello.
How we all doing, man?
Feeling good. We're good. Glad to have AP back in the.
I know, man.
80
Back in all
podcast,
presents.
baby.
It's
Thank
good
you
to be
for-
back, man. Like I miss you guys so.
This looks good,
Goddamn.
JB. You switched the cameras around. That looks good, man.
And
Yeah,
JB,
we had to do a little bit of a reset here, and we're gonna have another reset here soon too, bro. We got that new set.
It's
that
a great reset?
that we're developing a great reset, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that.
Right.
now.
Okay. No
Don't take it
election
there.
shit, dude.
No, seriously though, it's good to be back, man. I miss you guys so much, man. You guys are like literally a part of my lifeblood.
You are my brother from another mother,
Truly.
but your mother is like my mother.
right. She's like everyone's mom. Right?
Yeah, she is. Mama B.
Yeah. This is amazing. It's great to be here. It's good to have this is like an extra, like a mental exercise,
Yeah.
just chop it up, have like good, deep conversation, even if we're talking about bullshit. And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
We were censored by YouTube, apparently. So I will try to watch my language.
Yeah.
And, not act like I'm just talking with friends, but I'll do my best, brother. So please.
Well, it's funny. It goes a lot further when we're not cursing and talking about things that YouTube may find shocking.
Shocking content.
Shocking
that was
content.
quote unquote what we were told, right? Because we used the F word. It's shocking.
Well, and with one of Nateen's episodes, he was talking about a specific surgery that he had to do, and that's
with the penis.
Yes,
Right.
Yes,
And that was
that was
shocking?
shocking. Yeah. Even though it was for it was a plastic surgeon that was talking.
It was a
to us
medical
about
procedure.
It was a medical procedure. Exactly. That was my point.
But it was shocking.
So we got to be a little bit
good.
careful. We're growing followers at a pretty good pace right now.
We've hit
so,
1,000 followers.
Yes.
1,000
I think it's
followers,
almost
baby.
1,100 now.
1,100.
Yeah, man.
1,100. Yeah.
We're in
Let's-
those quadruple digits now.
Hey, it's
man.
fun.
Yeah,
Like-
we're getting there, man.
Yeah, we just did a really cool podcast out at Prairie Fire.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, JB and I got to go out there. It used to be Front Sight. It's Prairie Fire now. Our boy Chad Brown, super cool. I feel like he's like our friend now because we've interviewed him like 3-4 times.
Yeah. One of them, which we lost due to technical difficies. Which
lost the whole podcast.
Yeah, we lost the whole podcast,
man.
and
I didn't know that.
Chad used to run. He used to be the CMO over at Mandalay Bay, and he was there at the time of the Route 91 tragedy. So
I didn't know
we
that.
had a whole episode on
Yeah.
that, but we lost it due to technical difficulties, and that's okay. We're gonna have him back on. And he can go through the process of what Mandalay Bay went through, because that's a whole
That was a
nother
tough one, though.
perspective.
I don't even, it would be amazing for us and to have the conversation, but it's I know that it's tough. It was tough for him to bring that
Things
story
up.
back up.
Yeah.
Again,
he
not
did.
going down the rabbit hole, but there are so many things about that incident that are just like bizarre. But one, and then again, not to become egocentrical or egotistical in a sense, but our boy Brian Hopkins, he had texted me and said, "Yo, dude, I got a couple extra tickets to that festival."
Mm.
And I'm like, "No, man, I'm in upstate New York. I'm not home." And he's like, "Oh, okay, cool."
And we had him on talking about it too.
Hopkins was on one of the episodes.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man.
talking about it. Chad was the same way too. He had tickets for it. I think he had went the day before, and then he had some functions going on that night that he couldn't make it. He tried to give the tickets away to some of his family members. They couldn't go either.
Well,
And he didn't. And Chad doesn't miss. Chad doesn't miss a country concert. He's a huge country guy.
Yeah. It'll be fun to get you out to Prairie Fire again. We got to go back.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, that is so awesome. There's so many things to do out there. And that episode is live this week.
That's live. Yep.
So
I haven't shot a
you
gun,
guys
and
can
I
see
can't
that.
even remember the last time. It's been like at least 2 years since I shot a gun.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we had fun. Ryan took me out on one of the challenges.
Dude,
man.
Ryan's like, I mean,
he's like a little sharpshooter
dude.
over here,
So when we went, JB, we did this whole thing, this promo thing with Nellis Air Force Base. We went out, we shot sniper rifles, right?
Dude, it was for Scars and Stripes.
It was for Scars and Stripes, right here.
Yeah,
Scars and Stripes, right here. This festival, groundbreaking festival, which will hopefully come back again at some point.
Yeah, with Three Doors Down, and I mean, they did amazing, great band. I just went and saw them. I saw them in Salt Lake with Creed, and just a fantastic band.
Oh, they played with Creed.
So Three Doors Down was that was their first big tour that any band has ever taken them on. Was Creed, and that was 20 years ago.
Back in the day. Okay,
yeah, that was exactly 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it was like the coolest thing for them. And then Finger 11 played before them, and Finger 11 was like
cool
the
guys,
first.
Bro. Cool
Three Doors Down
man.
Was like the first band that ever took. That was their first big show. So it was like, it was like tiered down, dude. That made it so much cooler.
Yeah,
that they took care of each other, and that's what bands should do.
They should do that. They should
do that more.
We should do that. Yeah.
I say,
So talking about the music, man.
I mean, you guys do have some new music coming out, but first, there's a couple of questions that we posted on your Facebook page, man, and I wanted to just get a couple of those questions out. The first one I thought was pretty cool, and it's by a guy. His name is David Moorish.
Okay. Dave's been he's been supporting for a long time.
That's the cool thing about you guys too, is that you guys know a lot of your fans, man. You guys personally meet these fans when you guys are out on the road and touring and all of that stuff.
And social media helps with that.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does. So, you're able to go back and forth with them and talk to them about those kind of things and what's coming up with you and what's going on with them too.
Yeah.
And how your music, helps your fan base get through each day. But David's question is, what is your writing process like? Do you come up with the lyrics first or beats and melody first? And I got some pretty good firsthand knowledge on that just with the latest song that you guys are doing right now. So, Adrian, tell us a little bit about Permanent Vacation, man. Talk to me about how you came up with that song, where it came from, and then where it's at in the process right now.
So the latest demo that my brother and I just cut yesterday, some of you guys in the Family Wise may have seen, we did a little live stream real quick, which is very exclusive, for so the song Permanent Vacation, which is also ironically enough, or synchronistically enough, I'm pretty sure it's also the name of an Aerosmith album.
It is, and one of the first rock albums that I ever started listening to was Permanent Vacation. And it had Dude Looks Like a Lady on it. Yeah. The elevator song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, loving an elevator.
You got it.
Yeah. I don't know if there's actually a song on that record called Permanent Vacation.
No, there's not.
Okay.
I think it's just the album name.
So as far as this particular writing process for this particular song that we just demoed yesterday, it actually came to me in a dream.
Just like the band name did too, which is awesome.
Like the band name did as well. I do get a lot of, I call them dream songs. I have a whole file in my phone of dream songs, right?
Okay.
And I would say 9 out of 10 of them are just a melody, so like, I wake up, it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, oh shit, am I waking up the wife? Like, I don't know, and I'm like humming into my phone, like, like in my phone.
Humming the melody so you don't
humming the
forget
melody,
it.
yeah, like to some, and most of them suck, right? But few and far between, I'll get, the lyrics will be presented to me in this dream state.
Okay.
And this happened to be one of those instances where it was like I'd already, like the song, it was like a song you know what I mean? Like it was already written. Like the song had already been written, and I'm just literally remembering the song that was presented to me in the dream. And I sat down in the basement. I'm sussing it out. Like I have the melody and the lyrics. Like I kind of know the key. I'm not the greatest musical theory guy, right? Like my brother, and Tony Carboni and Corky Gainsford, like these guys who are like musical geniuses. I don't necessarily have that training.
At least you think you don't. But go ahead. Well, you don't have the formal training, but
no, you did a great job with.
Say that he has the natural
go
training
on about it,
sure.
but you put the chords down, and then you had a basic layout of the chords, and then you started coming in and like, hey, if we change this chord on this word, it was really like turning the song, like elevating the song, because that's a cool thing. You could take chords out of a song and make it really simple, but the greats find a way to, hey, you know what? You could actually add this extra chord in right here on this word. And then when that word comes in, you're changing to a certain chord and it just it hits you that much harder,
Yeah.
And like Sting does such a great job. You go, it goes, with the music theory and like where you can place, a lot of songs you could probably take out a lot of the chords and still be able to sing the melody over them. But then when you place the chords with certain words, and that's when it really starts getting colorful. So with Permanent Vacation, you did a really great job. And he sent me the demo idea and I'm like, hey, dude, this is awesome. Who's playing guitar for you on this? And this mofo was playing the guitar.
Right. Yeah, I know. I tell him that all the time too. You need to get on stage and play guitar and do a song.
Man.
You're not doing your brother any injustices by playing a song and playing guitar on it, because a lot of people don't realize that you can play guitar.
Yeah, but I'd be doing the audience, the fans, an injustice, because I get. If my brother's not backing me up on guitar, and I'm nervous about playing the damn guitar,
You can do it.
You can do it.
You can do it. Oh, we suck again.
Well, another thing about this particular song, and you and I had discussed this, is this song is brighter, right?
Yeah.
It's not one of your darker songs. It's one of your brighter songs. Talk to me a little bit about that and why. You're deciding to, write some more brighter songs today.
Well, I didn't decide to write it.
The dream decided.
The dream.
Is it the dream that decided? Is it the world that decided? Who decided?
I don't know, man.
Unconscious.
That's a great question, JB. Like, we have in these last few outings, these last few tunes that we've released, they have been very much in the vein of socio-consciousness. I don't want to say like socio-economical, political. I don't want to use the term political because God forbid YouTube cancels us again.
And don't say the word God either.
Oh, I can't even say God.
Keep that out your mouth, fool.
Yeah.
Keep my God's name out your mouth.
That was like the craziest shit I ever saw.
I know that was,
but I digress.
Right. So we digress. So yeah, we've kind of gone down that lane lately, especially with the Godzillionaire album release.
Super dark.
Dark. I mean,
Defy
is it
had
dark
it too.
or is it realistic?
I would say realistic. Dark.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but definitely realistic. The craziest thing about that album, but even more so with Defy, is that before all of the political stuff that was happening in our world and just everything, all the craziness that was happening outside of politics, the craziness that was happening in our world was inside that music before the music came out, which was crazy.
I know.
Because you could go back and listen, and I'd stress to everybody, go back and listen to the Defy album and tell me that stuff isn't what happened from 2020
Defy
to
all
like
the way
2024.
Defy all the way up through Godzillionaire.
All the way through Godzillionaire.
So,
because I mean, some of the songs in Godzillionaire were written before 2020 as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're not pretending to be like savants or some nonsense like that, right? But we were just in this zone. At least me and my brother.
You felt it. You felt things like this coming. Did you feel it, or did it just happen?
It was like, dude, we have to talk about this, like, and again, and we've discussed this before on prior podcasts, or at least in personal conversations. Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine, that's what he was feeling back in 1999, right?
Right.
But then he's like, then he takes a step back from the band and the music and rock and roll, because he's like, millions of people are buying my records, but these same millions of people aren't doing anything about the message that I'm conveying. And obviously, I'm not trying to compare either myself or my brother to Zach De La Roca and
no,
Rage
not at
Against the
all. We
Machine.
understand the premise that you're pushing towards. Yeah.
Right. So we did take a little bit of a more realistic approach, a less, I mean, I guess it's still personal because, dude, I can't afford to buy a house. I've signed 2 record deals. We've been on the radio. We've had top 20 hits and I can't afford to buy a house. So
I don't think anybody, in your defense, nobody can afford to buy a house right now. All right. Housing is unaffordable right now.
Right. And so are groceries.
And so are groceries.
But we won't talk. We won't, hey,
we're not getting
YouTube. We are
not getting political on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming back to the songwriting process.
Yeah.
We did go down that lane. We were still in that lane. And again, personally, so I have a lot of stuff that I do want to get out, but the song came to me in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. It's like, it's fun, but it is also kind of dark.
Yeah.
The term like permanent vacation. So I'm sitting down in the basement, I'm farting around on the guitar, trying to figure out what to play. And I'm singing, and the wife comes down and she goes, "Oh, that's really pretty. That's really nice. It's really, what do you mean by permanent vacation? Do you mean like suicide?" And I was like, I mean, it could be like, and I was already thinking that like, as I'm playing it, like, oh, permanent, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's an option, right? And my brother and I have been through it. You've had homies. I mean, we know,
Everybody
Dylan,
knows somebody.
Dylan Hanahan,
Yeah.
God rest all their souls. But it's fun. Like the demo is super fun, and I can't wait for people to hear it. And it's not the only thing that we have.
It's not the only thing in your arsenal.
In
really,
the chamber right now.
Yeah.
But we're so inspired. I'm so inspired now without the shackles, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just do what you want.
Just do what we want. And okay, so it's not going to make a record label or an attorney or a manager or an agent a bunch of money, but dude, I'm like back to where like, man,
We need
like,
it
I
matters to you. It matters to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's all that.
And
matters,
hopefully it
right?
then matters to
that's
more
what
people.
Yeah, I think people can feel that, right? When an artist presents a song that they feel passionately about, I think the audience on the opposite end feels that too.
Yeah. Definitely being authentic. It's taken all these years for me to realize, that's the most important thing, because I drank the Kool-Aid with listen to the other people because they're going to do more for us, and it's like, change the title of Defy. We had a different title for Defy and the president didn't like it. And I was like, dude, we got to change it because we need this guy on our side because he's going to break us, and it's just like, dude, just be authentic, man. I
personally liked Defy.
Yeah. I wonder why.
We're going to save that alternate title for another release. Okay.
I personally liked that one.
Nice. The cover was cool.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you. You fall victim of wanting their support.
Yeah. But now we're in a great place, like, to kind of add to the, the songwriting process. We got to sit down and, in just a bare room with a laptop and some speakers and, guitar and flush out the ideas. And it inspired me to get behind, the engineer producer kind of vibe, which is very, very important for us in our process, And he writes the songs. I can record and take and lift them up, because I can play bass, I can program a little bit of drums, I can play guitar,
play piano,
and I can do all the ear candy and stuff. I know you've been saying it for years, and that
I think I think that's the biggest thing for artists now, especially artists that are on their own without a record label, is that you have to know all of those instruments, because I think Pro Tools is an instrument. It's an instrument
Absolutely.
that bands have to
absolutely.
use in order to
Mhm.
put that stuff together. You
Well,
know?
he uses Logic, but
Mhm.
yes.
Well,
any-
Logic, same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
same thing.
Any
I
recording
didn't mean to
interface.
throw. I didn't mean to throw a brand out there.
A digital
Unless they're going to
audio
sponsor us, are they going to
workspace.
Right, unless you need a
Can
sponsor,
we
it
get
is
a
Pro Tools.
sponsorship?
Yeah.
yeah.
But even Eric German, I remember when we were talking about signing again earlier this year, not again, but signing to a company that would a distribution company.
Yeah,
It's
distro
like,
deal, right?
Why don't you just produce the songs yourself? Like you produce them, Ryan, produce them. Yeah, Eric's telling me that. And, it's like, yeah, we need to do that. But you got to
plus, you have all the
excited.
relationships with such great producers too, right? That
Mhm.
you can take what you guys are cutting,
Yeah.
right, and bring that into professional studios
Yeah.
like Kane Churko's,
Yeah, we
Hideout, right?
had Kane on.
Exactly. We had
We're
Kane
going
on.
to gonna go sit with Tony Carboni tomorrow.
Tony's
And Tony,
awesome in his own
game he's elevated his game. It's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
Yeah, it's
Corky's really good at this
and
stuff too, right?
Yeah, and we did it. We got to get that.
Dude, we
And
worked
Muffer.
with Andy Pugh. We're going to actually be dropping a track, an acoustic cover of Crossfire
Okay.
that Andy Pugh produced.
Yeah, that
No,
sounds
sure.
great. We
Okay.
got Hyro
Yeah,
the
that's
Hero.
right. I like that with
with
Hyro.
Hyro the Hero. Guest vocal. I mean, again, that
It's funny, just side topic too. I have a great client of mine that decided to come work for us, and he's a big BMX guy, right?
right.
So a couple of weekends ago, and he's from Miami, right? So he just moved out here, just got a house out here, blah blah blah, right? And he's a BMX rider, so he's out. And
He can afford a house riding bicycles.
He's
That's awesome, dude.
he comes from a huge company called Ross Video,
Okay.
which deals with all different kinds of productions on huge, massive level Super Bowl style stuff, right?
Okay.
But he happened to be riding BMX out in the desert on the south end of town here, and who does he run into? He's like, dude, I'm like sitting on my bike and I recognize this guy, and I'm like, dude, that's Corky Gainsford, man. I grew up watching Corky Gainsford.
Dude.
Not in the music industry. He was
As
a
a
professional
BMXer, dude.
BMX rider,
Yeah.
right? He was a BMX champion when he was younger.
When he was a kid, and that's the
Yeah.
thing is like you
Dude,
Google
he was
him.
one of the top guys in the world
yeah.
growing up.
And now
And
for
it's
his
just-
age now, now
He's
that we're
still one-
older,
they
he's
just
still
did a-
in the he's like one of the top
Yeah.
dudes.
He's still one of the top
Yeah, I'm
dudes.
looking
He
forward to
just
having
won
him.
a race last week. That
After breaking his
that Noel was
collarbone
out.
last year,
Right.
he broke his collarbone in a race and then heals up and comes back and wins again.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the ain't done yet type of guys.
That
Right.
podcast is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Once we get him,
when we get him
Yeah,
on here.
exactly.
So,
But so you were saying you guys are going in with Carboni.
So we're going in with
tomorrow then,
Carboni tomorrow.
huh? Okay.
But and you don't. I guess there isn't. As far as the songwriting process, which Mr. David Moorish asked about, you never really have. I guess you have a game plan is in the sense of like a concept, but when something again like this, something comes to you in a dream, when like you're not conscious, you can't. I can't at least ignore that.
totally.
So. Hopefully you guys like it. Hopefully it doesn't suck. Are there what other questions?
Well,
we got, Jamie?
let me just say too that Kathy Mathis asked the same question. So she asked some people hold up by themselves for writing sessions. What inspires you to write? And I think you kind of answered that question too. But I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that she asked that question too. Mark Buckwalter asks,
Mr. Buckwalter, all right.
Yeah, he asks, does Ryan play a certain guitar for each song, or does Ryan just play whichever one he wants? Does Adrian do any warm-up vocals before going on? I know the warm-up session, so I'll let you answer that question, but we'll let Ryan jump in first.
Yeah, I play primarily Gibson guitars. Shout out Gibson. Thanks for all your support. But it depends on where we're at. I can if there's strings on it, I'll play it, man.
Mhm.
You know, you could
You give me a tuba, I'll get a sound out of it.
But I think specifically, I think when you're on stage, you're switching guitars out.
Yeah.
Why do guitarists switch guitars out
Well,
while they're on stage?
some guitarists are just really pretentious and I need to play a different guitar, and because it's like I've never been that kind of guitar player where I need to have 17 guitars. I've actually been the exact opposite. But it also, certain guitars have certain sounds.
Tunings as well.
And tuning is an important thing too. Our last couple of years of touring, I got a pedal that you could just press the pedal and it pitches up and pitches down. So it,
nice.
That might be blasphemous. Yeah, that
Right.
might be blasphemous for those guitarists who are, like, hey,
purists.
you need it. Yeah,
Well, I mean, I
purists.
know that you guys do your songs in sets, right? And it's like, here's a set of 4, right? And it's in this tone, right? And then you do another set and it's in this tone, right? And that
Key.
Key.
Yeah.
And that, I guess, can allow you to play different songs at different times so that you don't have to do them so much in a series, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Also having your guitar tech, bringing the guitars out to you, right?
That pedal is basically a guitar tech. That
So
pedal
much.
basically
Jeez,
functions
look
as
at
a guitar
AI
tech.
taking over the guitar tech position.
I'm just gonna let AI write all the songs from now on, dude.
Hey,
I know, and you
very
told
well
me
could.
about
a
little bit of
that
that.
was pretty crazy.
I
kind of pulled us into that whole realm of things.
I maybe I could like I don't know, like give into it or something, but at the same time, again, it's like, dude, again, I'm not in the Matrix. I'm not Keanu Reeves with a jack in the back of my head and a song is being fed to me while I'm sleeping.
Right.
So AI can't do that for me, for us,
I don't think that AI can do that for humans.
Right.
Just humans in general that want to hear the song. I don't think AI can do a good enough job on a song for humans to feel it the way that somebody who actually wrote the lyrics themselves can make people feel.
Do you think, though, that AI right now is dreaming? Do you know what I mean? Like, does AI have like some...
Jeez, that's a great question. I mean,
yeah.
Like when it's not being used, is it like
I think that
formulating something?
I think that computers are built around the way that our brains work. So
that was the goal, right?
Right? Yeah, in a sense. Are they in a dream state because they're always on and until you access them, do they wake up?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I guess a little bit, but I don't think that AI will ever become or have the have the ability to think the way a human does or have the emotion behind what a human
So
has.
emotions, but that's the thing is like, so are emotions, do emotions equate to sentience? Like again, we're just like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the big question, right? I don't think that it does.
But is AI sentient right now as we know it?
I mean, it's a great question. It's a great question, man. Elon Musk
gotta ask Elon,
Jordan Peterson had the same exact conversation. And I think Elon Musk did a pretty good job of answering that question. And then I think Jordan Peterson answered the question pretty well too. And check out that podcast because that was a really good. That was a really good exchange, and they both had different answers, but they were both powerful.
The only podcast I watch really is Ain't Done Yet.
I know. Well, it's the best one.
Well, I know. I mean, I watch clips of Rogan and what's his name? All the Snow. Russell Brand.
Russell Brand's great.
I'd love his podcast.
He's great.
But I like, I got to brush up on my podcast homework, JB.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, Jordan Peterson's great podcast. Elon Musk, anytime he has podcasts or even phone conversations, he's had phone conversations with, Tulsi Gabbard and Tucker Carlson and He just did one recently with Donald Trump.
Wow.
It was just a phone conversation, and super interesting to just listen to him on a personal level.
Right.
It's just a conversation rather than an interview. Right? They're not interviews; they're just conversations.
Right. Yeah.
That's what's cool about podcasts. That's what I like about them so much. And that's the reason why we really started this, Ryan, right? Is because we're sitting around what we think are kind of interesting conversations.
After the fact,
Yeah. So, but let's jump to some more questions too, because I know you guys are on a timeline today. You guys got a lot of stuff going on. So let me ask this one. Joey Ellett,
Chef Joey
in the house, man.
What 3 artists are on both of your playlists on a regular? So Adrian, I'll go to you first on that. What 3 artists are on your playlist on a regular? Don't take your time too.
But well, I mean, are we talking about us like on both?
No,
of
what's
our
on your playlist? I want to know what's on your playlist, and then I'll ask Ryan because I know they're different too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I when I do listen to a band, when I do listen to like rock and roll or some,
it doesn't even have to be rock and roll. It's just like what's on your playlist. If you're going to play a song, you're driving down the road and you want to put a song on the radio, which one is it?
Oh man, when I used to drive, when we were on tour, and I would it was my turn to drive, which was few and far between because thankfully my brother and the guys were always like, just rest, like, if you have to.
Sure.
But when I was driving, dude, I was really, and I still am kind of big on this genre. It's, it's called new retro wave.
Okay.
Bands like The Midnight, FM 84. They have like all these like throwback 80s names, and a lot of it is instrumental, So if I'm like driving or if I'm like doing like chores around the house or something, I'll put on most of the stuff I put on is instrumental.
You have chores?
Well, household duties,
Oh, dude, I have chores.
the dishes and the laundry
Yes.
and, putting the trash out, the honey-do list. Yeah. So usually
wait till the boys get a little bit older. And then you won't have any more chores.
Well, I'm trying to get the boys.
You'll just be directing chores.
I'm trying to get the boys on that tip, and it's really, I feel like an overseer. I'm like cracking the whip, like you clean that up, and you made that mess, So,
are you a dictator?
Pretty much, yeah. I feel like one, right? But yeah, like household stuff, vacuuming. I'll have like most of the stuff I do listen to is instrumental, because a lot of times I can barely stand the sound of my own voice, let alone some dude I met backstage at a festival who I know is an asshole. So I don't want to hear him. Yeah. I mean, that's about as honest I can get on that.
What about you, Ray?
What's on my playlist, man? Let's pull it up real quick. Let me look at my Spotify.
All right.
Let's see here.
What's number 1 on the top list? What's the most listened to?
So I got the Vanilla Sky soundtrack, PM Dawn.
Nice.
Tupac.
PM Dawn, bro.
PM Dawn and Tupac.
21 Pilots. A DJ named Fred again.
All right.
And that's about it, dude. Some Kings of Leon. Another DJ named Zoo. I like Gary Clark Jr. a lot.
Gary Clark's dope.
That's about that.
Tame Impala, man. You and Jess turned me on to Tame Impala.
Tame Impala's great.
That's one of Ariana's favorites.
Yeah.
Tame Impala.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on.
Well, just to add to that question, Mr. Scotty, Dwayne Anthony, just to top off on that, which bands and or genres influenced you guys most?
Oh man, I mean, dude, all of for the most part, at least for me, because I mean, I am, in a sense, I'm considerably older than my baby brother. I'm 8 years old, almost a decade older. But I, obviously like 80s. I love U2. Fuck, man. Oh, sorry, YouTube. you know, I remember taking my brother to a YouTube concert at the Thomas and Mack.
Mhm.
And it was like right after 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he
12?
must have been like 12 or
13?
13, you know, I'm in my early 20s.
Yeah.
U2 was huge in the 80s, Depeche Mode, right?
Yeah.
But then, dude, the 90s, man. I mean, still to this day, the early to mid 90s, before the advent of boy bands and all that stuff, which was like 99, right? 98, 99. But before that, right, when alternative, not the new alternative, which is basically pop music now, right?
So more like grunge.
Yeah, but not even grunge, dude. Because again, Rage Against the Machine ain't grunge, man.
Right. Yeah.
They ain't grunge, dude.
They were
You know.
considered, I would say they were considered alternative back then, though, huh?
They were
Yeah.
alternative. Like Dr. Dre, like gangster rap is not grunge. You know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
but all that music came out at the same time.
Yeah.
Like those early, like there's my boys, my homies, they sent this.
was that top 40 stuff? Like, did you have, Today Was a Good Day and enter in any Rage Against the Machine song?
But then
in
you also had
in
Michael
that
Bolton,
era.
though. But then Michael Bolton,
right?
You know what I mean?
And I liked Michael Bolton, man.
Yeah, I
went to
celebrate the
see
man's
Michael
entire
Bolton.
catalog.
Yeah,
All right,
nice.
I celebrate the man's
Yeah.
entire catalog.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like I feel like that, and not to like be like an old timer or whatever, but there wasn't, I don't think, or has been since this like that early to mid 90s explosion of music. It was so diverse.
Yeah.
You know, like even now, if you listen to
But you could like all of it, right?
and you could like all of it.
yeah.
Like, but now you listen to like radio or and it's like, okay, this station plays the same type of music,
Mhm.
and this station plays the same, and the artist, you can just literally switch out the singers, and it's like, dude, it's the same band. Like,
it's kind of the problem, right? Is that even in social media right now, right? Is these algorithms are finding what you like, and then it keeps feeding you that same stuff,
They're
right?
just
So
repetitive.
it's contributing to
It's AI,
us
dude.
not being diverse as individuals because we get fed from a political side, we get fed all the political stuff that we tend to lean towards, right?
Yeah.
From a music perspective, we're getting fed all of the music stuff that we get leaned towards,
Yeah.
right? There's no diversity in anything that we're doing anymore because everything could be so customized
Yeah.
to exactly what we want and exactly what we like that we don't reach outside those bounds. And that's what sucks.
It was
Yeah.
pretty amazing. I was listening to Bon Iver. And
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of get in, just like listen to his stuff, but he has a song with Taylor Swift.
Okay.
So I was on Spotify and I put on Bon Iver's channel, his profile, and it kept going to the Taylor Swift song after. And I'm
After every other
I'm like,
song,
this song's not good. Like next song, no,
It's not your best
It
song.
wasn't one of their best songs. I didn't
Mhm.
really compare it to the other stuff I was listening to. I'm like, this, no hate on.
Well, there's the music machine,
Music
right?
machine.
The music
I've
machine, the
experienced
music
it
industry.
firsthand. Yeah.
Yeah. There it
Yeah.
is, pushing you what it wants you to hear
Yeah.
rather than what you
But
want to
maybe
hear.
it's because so many other people are, also listening to that one more. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, give us some more. Hit us with.
Yeah,
hit us with another one.
one of the questions just to follow up on that was, what did you guys learn from the music industry? What have you guys learned about the music industry? I'm trying to find it here, just kind of scrolling through these, some of these questions here. Yeah, what is, this is another question from Joey. What is the one major thing about the business side of the music industry have you learned in the past 15 years?
The one major thing about the business of the music industry.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess for me, speaking personally, I would say that it's almost, at least in the beginning of your career, it's a necessary evil, almost in the sense like government, and not to make it a political thing, but it's this overreaching mechanism that you have to learn, or at least try to learn how to feed and operate,
Mm.
The one, I guess, even taking it to further down the personal rabbit hole, I would say that the one thing that I learned personally is that you don't really have friends in the music industry. They're surface friends. They're not like you and me and my brother and the homies that we grew up with here.
Right.
Like, even
is
though
that the business industry,
I guess
or is it just the music industry? I mean,
guess-
I have some really close friends in the business industry,
but
I also have the.
But so give us your experience, JB, because you have worked across every industry, and I remember you telling me vividly, and not verbatim. I'm gonna like paraphrase here,
Yeah.
but you're like, dude, these people in the music industry, I've never ever worked with people like this. Like, I don't get how they think. And
one of my biggest issues with the music industry is it always seemed that everybody was on a permanent vacation. No pun. Right?
Oh yeah, always getting the automatic response like,
I'm on vacation. I'm out of the office. I'm on vacation. And it just seemed like because they're out of the office and on vacation so much, nothing ever got done. Right. Yeah. The only person, there's a couple of people definitely in the industry that, and I don't want to push too hard on the music industry, because there are definitely individuals out there that work extremely hard
and are quality humans
and are quality people, and we can name them a lot of them now, and we know who they are, and they know who they are, but that was the biggest problem that I had with it. Is, as you guys know, I'm always on the go. I'm always pushing forward. I'm always got shit going on. I always have stuff to do, and it just felt like I was always at a standstill with them. Anything that I ever tried to help out with or push towards in their direction or get done for you guys, for tours, for albums, for just artwork, just doing the artwork and trying to get the artwork approved with these folks is insane. It was just too hard. It was too hard. It slowed down the process, makes it a lot easier for you guys doing this stuff on your own, because you can make your own decisions.
So circling back to Chef Joey's question about what I learned from the music industry is, again, that you have to pick, number one, pick and choose your battles. Number two, it's, again, they're not most of them are not your friends. like they don't really care.
Yeah.
And again, it's got to be the same in any industry, the culinary industry, the trade show industry, across the board for the most part. But you find the diamonds in the rough. You find those gems that are like, okay, this person actually.
Well, they're your friend when you're doing really, really well, though.
Well, that's all of them. Yeah, that's everybody. But it's the ones that when you're not doing well who are still there.
Yeah.
Right.
And that filter has really taught, and not to speak out of turn, that has taught my brother and I a lot.
Yeah.
So
what about you, Ryan?
I would say one business, probably say you want to keep your energies protected, like, and it'll help you deal with things better and run your business better. Where you put like friendships and people, like you put so much trust into other people, and then that's almost like a fault on your own. But also at the same time, managers lie, and sometimes they lie to get you excited so that you can go and push yourself, just like parents lie. You're so great,
Right.
You're the
and
smartest.
It helps sometimes, but then when there's business and then you're mad at someone because they told you something, but if you have like, it's tough though, the artists are the troubled ones a lot of the times already, and I would say in my experience, if playing guitar and being the best guitar player I could be and being the best songwriter I could be and being in the best shape of my life and having like those regiments and like staying away from all the excess, you know, I think that is probably a good thing. Like, you know, focus, stay true to, and I think that helps you stay authentic too. Because then you're not, you know, you're not like, dang, I need to go do what that other band's doing. It's just like, no, it's, you know, and then you're not as upset when relationships don't work out, I would think, you know, because you're staying rooted in, you know, your beliefs, which is tough in the music industry because you want to succeed. So then you buy into everybody else's, you know, beliefs. But I would say,
I think Tool said it really good on one of their songs that I sold out well before you even knew my name.
I love
Right?
that. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Because it's I think it's one of the only ways that you can really make it in the industry, at least back then. I think it's getting to a point now that you can make it in the industry without having to worry about what the labels and who the labels are and making sure that they're happy, right? Because everybody was reliant before
on the labels,
because the labels were the ones getting the music out there, right?
Yeah.
It was up to them whether or not they were going to play your song or not play your song. I mean, it still is up to them. Don't get me wrong. It still is up to them.
They still have
just like you said, that's Taylor Swift's song kept coming up in your playlist after every song that you played because they are pushing it towards you and they're paying somebody to push it towards you.
Right.
Yeah. You know, but it is getting easier for you guys to get your music out there, for any band to get their music out there without having to worry about what everybody else or what the powers that be think about it.
I would say know the process too. You know what the difference between mechanical royalties are, and you know what royalties are.
I'm still confused about that, man. I mean, come on,
man. Like
learn all that.
When we get German in here, man, German's gonna break it
German
down.
better come down in here,
and then we can watch it 50 times so that we can understand what the real deal is. But yeah, that's another great point.
Yeah. Okay, before we do any more questions, can we take a quick pee break?
Yeah.
Lights have dimmed.
The lights have dimmed. We've changed the lighting in the place. It has gotten sexier. Sitting by candlelight.
These men are prettier than I am.
This man is prettier than I.
Alex, are we back?
That was one of my favorite all-time movies of end quotes of all time. Right.
So good. Most people don't get
that. He starts talking to his God too, right?
Yeah.
He's like, "What are you talking?" So I went to TP USA last year. And Glenn Beck was one of the speakers on there. And
who also got canceled, right? Didn't Glenn
he also got canceled. Yeah. He also was canceled. During his speech on stage in front of, you know, I think there was 17,000 people there. He throws up Braveheart. And he goes right to the Braveheart speech where he's like, you know, on the horse and like telling his people, like, we need to do this for something. Right. And it just goosebumps all over me. Like, man, I just remember how great what a great Braveheart.
Oh man.
A movie Braveheart was. Yeah, and I had a Blockbuster tape, Jake, when we were roommates. I had a Blockbuster tape. And I never took that one back.
You just kept. I just kept.
I'm like, I don't give a shit how much they fine me. I don't care. I think it was like $240 fine, and I'm like, it ain't going back. I'm staying. Yeah,
nice.
And we used to watch it hungover on the weekends.
Yeah,
and we just watched that movie, man, because it was just so good.
We used to watch the battle scenes from that movie before games, football games in high school.
Yeah.
So we would, but we would just, you know, we'd put the tape in and then fast forward just to the battle scenes and then go to the game.
Yeah, you're just like amped. I used to feel like that with 300, you know, the movie 300. It just like, man, that just gets you just pumped up to do whatever you needed to do, whatever you needed to get done. You could use that one and you're there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you know, what's great about 300, the other angle on that is Leonidas. And here's where I guess I'm being toxically masculine and misogynistic, but I don't remember her name.
God forbid.
Or his wife fully believed and supported him in his extreme belief system that he had.
Yeah.
Well, that's like what the Bible says too, right? So if you start thumbing through the Bible and the Bible says,
I don't do that very often,
God
bro.
first,
No.
husband second, children third, right? And then everything else,
Right.
Yeah.
And so following that, I think is what the movie was doing, and there's a certain level of, I mean, my wife understands that I think more than I do. It's like, that's what she says to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Just
having that support system.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
I think we need that too, because we can be, you
need to have a
Guys
confident lady.
Yeah.
To be
a lady that has confidence in you.
Whatever.
A counterpart.
Yeah, whatever floats your
Chad
boat.
was talking
Doesn't have
about.
to be gender
I'm saying in our
specific.
conversation that it's ladies, and it's you got to have a confident woman to back you up on that. Back you up on your beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, shoot us a few more wise questions.
Oh yeah.
Queries?
So
Wise queries?
We'll wrap this bad. We're doing a shorter one today, but we got a few things to say, so let's do it.
One of the questions from, and we'll just throw this one out here as kind of like a in the middle question here, is Greg Boutwell. Said, if I sent you all my covers, would you sign them? And to that, I would probably answer for you guys is that at any given show that they show up to, you guys are usually at the merch booth, and you guys are happy to sign anything 100%. That you want, anything that anybody wants you guys to sign. So talk about that a little bit. Like, at the end of the show, what do you guys usually do at the end of a show?
Well, quickly, Greg, if you want those signed, you want to send them to us, the only way you can send them to us is by handing them to us. So you got to come to a show and we will sign whatever you want, man.
Perfect. Perfect. What happens at the end of the show? You guys usually go out and meet your fans and do all that kind of stuff. And Adrian, I know you like to go out and rock out with the other bands when you guys are, main support for a headliner or whatever. You're usually out in the crowd rocking with all the fans for the bands that they're there to see coming up after too, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole, that experience, that upbringing of being in a live show, in that visceral communal connection, that absolutely, like, yes, like I'm not, the whole, we've discussed this from a marketing standpoint, a business standpoint, the veneer of mystique, right? But I just, JB, I've never been that guy, dude. I'm not
You're
not
just
gonna go.
Who you are.
I'm not gonna go sit on the bus and like pretend that nobody can speak to me, or like, no, my brother and I go get in the mosh pits.
Right.
It's funny you bring that up because I thought about like things to talk about. People want to know a lot of the behind the scenes of what has happened in our careers over the last 15 years, and I thought about the mosh pit thing. And that was actually something that it kind of backfired a little bit.
Yeah.
Where we thought that, like certain bands that older bands that we grew up listening to, that we got the chance to tour with and that we would mosh to before we signed. But then when we started touring with them, we were like, yo, we got to go pay our respects. We need to go pay our respects. Yeah. We have to go we're not too good for the mosh pits anymore. And so we would go get in the mosh pits. And yeah, it was cool because we would get in the mosh pits after just playing. And then everybody in the mosh pit would be like, holy crap, dude, these guys are in there. We didn't know any other bands that would younger bands that would do that. And so it was like, cool. It was awesome. We're in the mosh pit doing what we do in what we used to do at least. And it actually, I think that it really pissed them off.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
I mean,
because I know the fans appreciate it.
But it takes away from the guys performing
their show,
right. and it could, I wish we were, and that's the thing too, where if we'd be like, hey guys, can we, like, we used to mosh to you guys. Like, is it okay? You know what I mean? Like ask and find out and read the room. We just took it upon ourselves to do that. And we should have probably read the room a little bit better.
I never thought about that, and I mean, it makes sense now. I was out in the mosh pit with you, Adrian, after you guys played main support for Godsmack, and you and I went and grabbed a drink, and went out to the mosh pit, and everybody is like, oh my God, Adrian's out in the pit. He's in the pit. Yeah, he's with us here. So I can see indirectly how.
And that was an arena too, and the pit was far back. So you imagine when we're playing in smaller venues where
theater shows,
the guys can see us right there, and they're looking out, seeing everybody pointing at the pit, like, dude, that's the guys from Otherwise. And I mean, I wouldn't. I would say, like, dude, this is cool. Like, hell yeah, we just played. Like, yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's rock out. And then the guy, it's not all rock and roll, dude.
That makes sense.
Well, I wish we could have probably, to touch on, hey, what have you guys learned? And even so, I bet you if we asked.
So that's one thing that you would say that you learned then is that because the intention was not to upstage any band at any time.
Absolutely not.
The intention was that you wanted to pay homage to bands that you guys used to listen to, who helped get you to where you guys were, because if it wasn't for you listening to them, you might not be standing in that 100%. Crowd or have performed
or
that
on
night.
That tour.
If there were any bands we'd want to upstage, we wouldn't be in their mosh pits.
Right.
And the bands we want to honor, we'd get in the pits.
We'd get in the
just
pit.
like we did.
Very Braveheart.
And that's like, other than Supposed, once again, Otherwise does it differently, and to our fault, to a certain sense, we're just trying to keep it real, and real doesn't cut it sometimes.
Yeah. Right. You're thinking on another aspect of the other side of the same coin, there's other business paradigms that we didn't necessarily know about, right? Now imagine, and I'm almost certain, I would say 98% certain that the bands that we were on tour with, that we were at festivals with, and were in the pit with the fans, it didn't have to do with what I'm about to say. It had more to do with stealing the thunder, because it is kind of weird, like when the whole pit is taking selfies with, because we're there, right? But what about the insurance? Like, what if I had hurt somebody, or my brother, or we had gotten hurt? Now there's a liability, So
I guess it was kind of dumb of us to do it then, huh?
Yeah,
I suppose.
It was pretty dumb. Piss and vinegar.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what this podcast is here for us to just admit our wrongs.
That's right. Maybe you guys can find something. Maybe you can learn something from sitting here with me about what you guys have done. What you did wrong, right? Yeah. Just sit there and think about it for a little bit. Why don't you? Another question, which I think is a really great question here, and this one's by Wonderland by Chris, is who would you like to collab with in the future? Adrian's collab with In This Moment is what introduced you to me to begin with. Would you consider collabing with them again? And the first thing that I would say is that I believe that you guys have that particular song, The Promise, that you guys did an acoustic version with Heidi Shepard from Butcher Babies, right?
Yeah.
Which you also
and that may be coming out at some point soon here, right?
I
know the collab was a couple of years ago where you guys did that song acoustically, but you guys have saved that for a possible acoustic album of From the Roots Volume 3 that might possibly be coming out sometime soon.
JB, possibly, but again, we're independent. We're Indiana Jones over here. Okay. Heidi and Maria are still locked into the bureaucratic red tape. So
sure.
Given that there's going to be a lot of hoops to jump through. I would like to say it's just a song. Yeah, let's just put it out, man. Right. But in the again, not being dark, but being realistic.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a long shot, but we do have it. Like we have, and Heidi killed it. She killed it. Like
Heidi's incredible. I mean, people, there's a lot of people out there that don't really realize
that she can sing.
What an incredible voice, that she actually has, right?
Yeah.
They're more recent stuff. She's been showcasing that, but even when we had her on to sing, we didn't, and that was 4 years ago. We didn't realize that she had such a great voice.
Right. And then we were like, damn, this chick can sing.
Yeah.
We have a song called Paradise. Do you want to jump on Paradise with it? And she jumped on it and killed it, dude.
And Paradise is on the Godzillionaire record too, so you guys can check that out. Fans can check that one
Great
out.
song, man. And my brother produced most of that.
Yeah, that's a great song.
Yeah. Collab. Who would you want to collab?
Yeah, collab. Well, let me first say too that you guys have another song that is coming out. You mentioned it earlier. Is a collab, and that is with who?
Yeah,
Hyro the Hero, man. The acoustic version of Crossfire, produced by Andy Pugh. Hyro jumped on. We added a third verse in a sense. My brother basically extended the bridge part for the acoustic arrangement of it, and Hyro just jumped on. And dude, honestly, man, Hyro's part on that rendition of Crossfire absolutely makes the song worth listening to. Like,
Hyro's pretty dope, man. I mean, he is massive talent. And there's still just a little bit of red tape that you guys are working through label wise before that can get released.
A little bit, because our previous label still legally owns the rights and masters to it. So we've had to jump
with them. Yeah, we've
been working. Hopefully it'll come out. I don't know when this podcast will come out. Hopefully the song itself will come out in a timely fashion leading up to the election. But if not, either way, at some point everybody can hear it.
Sure. Yeah. Crossfire. That song kind of has to do with being kind of stuck in the middle of what's going on politically, right?
Yeah.
Man, it's funny because, like, going back to what we were talking about earlier, the songwriting process, right? I'm not much of like a storyteller in a sense. Like, I don't have I'm not like a Tolkien, like I don't have like all these fantastical ideas in my head necessarily. Most of the lyrical content, if not all of it, is from a very personal standpoint. But then I'm also taking into account everything that we're thinking about, everything that we're experiencing. So even if it's not overtly political or societal, there's absolutely the overtones of like, this is our reality.
Yeah,
right?
It's the human condition.
The human
tensions of the human condition. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
As far as like collaborate, I mean, dude, we've we're not like a gigantic band or anything, but to be able to collaborate with Heidi and Hyro, and dude, my first foray ever into doing a duet with the great Maria Brink, and In This Moment on The Promise, the speaking politically or socio-economically, dude, having Echo on the title track for Godzillionaire, another hip hop artist who came in and just crushed the part and elevated the song.
Yeah, he's another fantastic talent.
Oh man, the guy, he farts out amazing ideas. But I don't know, man. Like, for a future collaboration,
if you had your choice, who would it be? Like, I want to do a song with that person.
I mean, this is kind of weird. Like
Oasis, dude. Oasis.
Yeah, Oasis, man.
It's 4 of the craziest brothers ever.
All 4. And then we can all just fight each other
Yeah,
after the
that's right.
song, you know,
Right. And then grab beers after.
and then get beers together.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'd like to work with. I've really been liking this this DJ named Fred again. Electronic music. I think we but like the new age stuff, like getting one of my brother's choruses on like a electronic drop, but like a club song, like club hit. Like how do we get that? And it's been done. It's been done numerous times, many times. I think that would be really cool. I think that it could definitely happen. But any kind of like like a Skrillex. You can imagine Skrillex remixing one of our songs.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking awesome.
Nice.
It'd be sick. It'd be really sick. But
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, doing some sort of mix or remix of some of the songs. I mean, similar to how you guys do the acoustic stuff, because it always lends itself, and I think that's where the roots, right, of a lot of those songs come from, is from acoustic side. It's
I mean, we don't
interesting to see it from.
Yeah, we write everything on an acoustic guitar to start with, and so not to like keep running down this lane, but for as far as like acoustic ideas, there's like more in the realm of what we may or may not have access to.
Mm-hmm.
Like another one for me personally would be if we can get like Sonny from POD.
Oh wow,
because like as we discussed earlier in this episode, our song "Permanent Vacation" that we're going to release, it does have a little bit of like, it has some like reggae vibe to it, right? And Sonny is like I don't know how. Our dad weaned my brother and I on Bob Marley and Black Uhuru and Peter Tosh and Burning Spear. Like that was the first music I ever remember
I didn't know
hearing.
your dad was a big.
He was
reggae
massive
fan.
into reggae, dude.
I played Bob Marley when I was in the womb, dude.
No kidding.
I was
Huh?
I'm like, it wasn't even out yet. I was listening to
You
Bob
were
Marley.
feeling irie, huh?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, so like maybe getting like Sonny from POD or like even like we got a couple we got a really funny song in the pipe, and you guys will hear it at some point, whether it's just me and my brother or we have a guest collaboration. But we have a song called "Don't Breathe," which is it's dark, but it makes me giggle every time I hear it. If we get like a cat, like a country cat, like a Struggle Jennings on it or something, or I mean, even like a local hometown boy, like a John Widowmaker or something like that,
Dude, that song it's the funniest story with that song, Don't Breathe. We were recording From the Roots 2.
Mm-hmm.
In Champaign,
Illinois.
Urbana.
Champaign, Urbana.
And my brother and Tony Carboni pulled me aside. They had been sitting in the room just like jamming, and they pulled me aside, brought me in the room. I had told them the story of a breakup with a girl, and she said something like, don't even breathe my name.
Don't even breathe.
In a text message. Like she's all,
what
she's
what does that even
so,
mean?
Like I told them that, and then whatever. It just
we laughed so hard when he told us that. We laughed so hard, like what?
Stupid and funny. And then
that is some clown princess.
So then they brought me in the room.
Right.
Yeah, they brought me and they're like, all right, we want to play. And then they start singing the song, and I'm just sitting there listening to it. And I'm listening. And then they finish and they stop. And I'm just like quiet, and it's quiet. And I genuinely just like burst into laughter. Like, dude, I have never laughed so hard. Like where it just like hits you like an explosion of laughter. Cause like I had to like comprehend what cause I thought it was seriously like, hey, listen to this idea. We're in studio mode. And it's like, it's a really catchy song, and it's funny. And
it's dark. It's
dark.
Yeah.
And
I don't think I've heard this one.
And it has the line in it. And I just sat there, and there was like this moment where I looked at both of them, and then just like, boom, explosion of laughter. That was like one of the greatest like presentations of a song ever. Is don't breathe.
You were like, dude, just come here, check this out real quick.
Because It was so funny, man. I've never laughed so hard at hearing a song before in my life.
Because dude, honestly, like Tony and I, he started he was
So funny.
he thought the communication, the text was so hilarious.
Yeah.
He just started like playing something on the guitar, and I was like, okay,
That's
let's go,
totally
dude.
Tony too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And-
Dick song that you guys did in the
Oh, yeah.
in the green room one time, and you guys
At the
sent
Q
that
and
to
Z
me, and I'm
Expo,
like,
man.
dude.
in Ringel, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
Yeah. So, that's the thing is though, it's actually like, again, like not to monetize everything, but it could be something that is it's marketable. It's catchy.
Yeah.
Like it's funny. It's dark.
You guys have a version of that song?
Yeah. I'm going to send you
we'll
right
throw,
now.
We'll
Yeah,
throw
send
it
it to
after
me.
the podcast.
Yeah, I want to check it for
Yeah.
sure. Well, let's go to another question here. Debbie Matheny.
Matheny?
Matheny?
Something like that.
Matheny?
Matheny.
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 Debbie Matheny. If you had your pick of any artist or performer to open a show with, who would it be?
Foo Fighters.
Ooh. Incubus.
Incubus.
Or Incubus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those two.
Nice.
Or
which is-
Oasis.
or
Now
Oasis.
that they're coming back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like the Foo Fighters thing, more
Foo Fighters,
so
definitely, yeah.
because, again, in the break, which, you guys, obviously, anybody watching this was not privy to, there was a little bit of like personal kind of like some emotional things that we worked through, not relating to either of the three of us, but an outside party
Okay.
who we love very much so, regardless of how they feel. But with the Foo Fighters, we had played in Nashville.
Yeah.
Okay. And we played, I want to say, what was that place called? Was it in and out or the,
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called. But it was just right. It was right on the, I think, no, it wasn't on Broadway, but it was close.
no, it was on Broadway.
Was it?
Because they were walking down
Oh,
Broadway.
right. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
And the guitar player, and he's been with the Foo Fighters since,
You talking about Pap Smear?
not Smear,
No.
the white guy. I forget his name.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I can't remember. off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I know. He's a super nice guy. And
Mhm.
but of course it's like, it's not Dave or Taylor, right?
Mhm.
So we play this show, and it wasn't a bad turnout. Like it was like, like a good amount of people. It's Broadway in Nashville.
Mhm.
Like
Chris Shiflett.
Chris, yes.
Chris
It was
Shiflett.
so we get done with the set. My brother, I'm in the green room and I'm like drying off. I'm doing my like cooling down, like, dude, like I just poured my shit out for 50 people. Like, okay.
Right.
My brother comes up to me. He's like, dude, the guys from the Foo Fighters are at the bar right now. And they want to have a beer. You need to get out here right now. And I was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
we go out. I dry off. I put a new shirt on. We go out to the bar, and it's Chris and Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters. And Taylor, he's like, yeah, man, we were just walking down the street, and we were walking past the bar, and we heard your songs, and I guess they both went like, dude, that's pretty good. That doesn't suck. So they came in,
Uh-huh.
and they watched the last two songs of our set, which I think at the time was I Don't Apologize and Soldiers.
Yeah.
I think we were ending with those two.
Okay.
And we get off. We get done. My
How
brother-
long ago was this?
Oh man, this was
2015.
Peace at All Costs era.
Okay.
This was the last tour of like Corky and Andy, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of tension at this point. It was
Yeah.
it's not going well, but this was such a bright moment. And
As
so-
does with most bands.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. And so to the question, we're standing at the bar, we're having beers with Chris and Taylor, and Taylor's like, and he's standing there, he was a wiry guy, right? Like,
Mhm.
like ripped, but like wiry and like, shorter guy. Like, and he's like, your songs sound anthemic. You like they're like you guys like write anthems like it should be in a stadium. And I was like, well, I mean, do you know anybody who plays stadiums who could maybe need an opener?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's been a dream of yours since that conversation happened. Then,
and it was face-to-face conversation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It wasn't like through email or fucking YouTube representatives. Like those dudes were there. They were walking down the busiest street in Nashville, which is music center, right?
Yeah.
Music, like, and they were like, dude, that sounds great. Let's go check it out. So yeah, Foo Fighters would be absolutely amazing.
Why do you say Incubus?
Just because they're probably one of our biggest inspirations,
Yeah.
like one of mine, the guitar play. And I've seen them live so many times.
How many
now.
times, dude?
Like, so many times. And they're just
You just saw them at
awesome.
Hollywood Bowl last year, right?
I saw them at Hollywood Bowl last year. Where did I just see them at? We saw them a couple months ago. Man, I'm having a blank, but we've seen them like 9 or 10 times. It's the band
Yeah.
I've seen the most ever.
Nice.
And I just love them. I love them so much. It would be really, really cool to play with them.
We played Rock on the Range with them one year, and Ben, is it Kenny or Kerry?
Not Ben Kenny.
Ben Kenny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Carey's our Elvis Monroe home.
Okay, yeah, right. One of the most talented Bens that we know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we had run into him at NAMM.
Yeah, that was years later,
Yeah.
but it was when we met them at Rock on the Range for the first time.
Oh, see, I thought that we had seen Ben at NAMM first,
No,
and then
no.
we can, because then Ben's the one who invited us
he
up
did.
on
And
stage
he invited us
for
to
their
stand
set
side
at Rock
stage.
on the Range.
Yeah, and this was like
Nice.
This was like the first or second Rock on the Range we ever played.
Okay.
And man, that was one of those like full circle moments of the guy from Incubus, the bassist, saying, "Hey, you guys come stand side stage with us."
Yeah,
and we were
come watch.
standing there with Marcos from POD
Yeah.
watching Incubus, dude. That was like, if we could tell our younger selves that, hey, this is gonna go down, this is gonna happen, we'd be like,
No,
you're on some drugs.
never gonna happen, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did the same thing in Sacramento for
Rise Against?
Yeah, with Rise Against.
That was
What was that? What was that show?
Aftershock.
Aftershock
Yeah, yeah,
Festival. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was epic. That was the first time that I ever got to stand side stage with a big rock band with 25 or 30,000
People
people
in front,
yeah.
in front. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, you guys played right before them, and then they came on and played, and I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best photos you took of him and I in
it's
front of those
epic.
people. Like
Oh,
I have it framed, and
Yeah.
I
Remember you
showed
had
that
it in
to
the
my
structure
boys.
booth
Yeah, I
when you
did.
did that big booth that we played at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, that was a cool gig. That was a
Yeah,
cool gig.
Yeah.
One of my favorite photographs too is all the security propping you up.
dude,
and
those guys,
holding
they
you
just
up, and
they
you're
were like, I got you, man. Let's go. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
all right.
and all those fans are just like,
Yeah.
JB,
And
if
people
you
throw
could see Otherwise open for any band, which
Yeah.
band would it be?
Who would you pick?
wow, that's a great question. I really thought that, you guys were supposed to do a tour in 2020 with Scott Stapp. And I just went and saw Creed recently.
The reunion.
Yes.
Yeah.
The reunion. Yeah. And I would have to say that it would be Creed.
Yeah, totally.
I think that your music, and I mean, they're a religious band, and, Scott Stapp is very religious himself, but you guys have this certain religious light inside of your music too, that I think just bodes very well with the music and championing oneself and never giving up kind of thought process. It's the same thing that their music talks about.
Yeah.
Spirituality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And camaraderie and togetherness and all of those themes. You guys have those exact same themes. So if I could see you guys working with any band or opening or main support for any band, I think it'd be Creed.
At this
I know
moment
that they
in
were,
time.
at this moment in time.
Right.
And I think they're playing here at the Coliseum at the end of the year with Seven Dust.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have done shows with Seven Dust before.
Yeah,
That's
man,
one of my
we toured
other
with Seven
favorite
Dust,
bands. Yeah, you've toured with them. You've done their New Year's Eve show
in Atlanta, which I
And
believe
now
is their
New Year's
hometown,
Eve
right?
show. Yeah, I think that is their hometown.
Yeah, technically, I think is what they say.
Yeah, we're playing. We're scheduled to play with Buck Cherry on New Year's Eve this year
Oh, okay.
in Mesquite, Nevada.
In Mesquite, which is
Oh,
about
nice,
an hour and a
cool.
half. Yeah. So if you can't afford the Creed and Seven Dust tickets at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace,
What day
Come
is
see
it
us.
that you guys are playing the Buck Cherry show?
New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve.
No,
the
New Year's
31st.
Eve. It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Awesome.
As of right now,
Right
it's
on.
still going down. So.
Okay, so it's still in the works.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
happening. So
Very cool, man.
we also have our annual rock and run.
Yeah, the rock and run, man. I wanted to make sure we got to that too, dude. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that. You got we're less than 30 days away from that one.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up real quick. We have our golf tournament, the Rock and Swing Golf Tournament, on Friday, November 1st.
Okay.
It's a 9-hole executive course starting at 2 p.m. $100 a golfer, $400.
All you
for a
golfers who need a free day off of work,
Yeah,
or
half
a
half
great
day on
cause,
Friday.
Well, they got to get there a little bit early so
Yeah.
they can get loosened up before
Yeah.
they go out and play. So I would call that a full day off on Friday.
Yeah. Take that
Let's
Friday
do
off.
this, right?
Yeah. And then the fourth Rock and Run 5K that next morning, Sunset Park, November 2nd, Saturday, November 2nd. And that evening, we're going to play acoustic at the Composers Room in
Awesome.
in Old Vegas at the Commercial Center.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Commercial Center, dude.
that little venue is pretty awesome.
It's got some
the
heart.
venue is
man.
amazing.
That venue's got some heart. And
Yeah,
it's
it
right down the
definitely
street
does.
from where we came up, and we
Literally walking distance.
yeah. So it's exciting. It's going to be a really good weekend. So hopefully everybody can come join us.
And that's Damon that owns that place, the Composer Room.
Damian Costa, yeah.
Damian Costa.
Yeah.
So, Damian, we still need to have you come on the show too, man.
We're gonna get him on.
I talked to you
Bring it, bro.
the last time I was up there, so let's get you on before that show happens, so that we can have a little fun entrepreneurial discussion.
Yeah.
Anybody opening for you guys at that show? Do you have an
We're gonna have
opener
some
yet?
locals come through.
Okay.
Yeah, and have a little local showcase of good artists.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Good
it's
to
gonna
support.
it's gonna be a good time. It's challenging to promote events. As you can see,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of our friends here in town, who do big things, like they have to move things and change things, and ticket sales are odd. It's a challenging time for a lot of people to make things happen. But the fact.
Vegas is one of the biggest, places in the world for lots of stuff happening all at the same time.
And it's
On the same
only
night.
getting bigger
And on
and
the same
bigger.
night.
Yeah.
It's
And
getting
that-
bigger and bigger.
More
and bigger.
hotels are building up, which are creating more
Yeah.
amphitheaters, which are creating more avenues for bands to come out, which is separating, the fan base more and more on a
Right.
nightly basis.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of, bands don't want to come to Las Vegas too, because it's so watered down.
It's very
There's so
it's
many- you
competitive.
can go anywhere
it's
in the city.
competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say not. I wouldn't call it watered down. I would say it's just so competitive.
I mean, I meant the fan base is watered down, right?
Oh,
because
right.
they all
Okay.
want to go see so many different things. There's so many different
What do
things
we
to
do?
choose from.
Like,
Right tonight, there's Jodeci's playing. If you want to go see
Right.
R&B,
Ice Cube- Ice
Ryan
Cube's
and I
at the
went to
M,
that.
dude,
Ice
you know,
Cube's at
like-
the M.
Yeah.
Otherwise, is at the Joint. Which is not the Joint anymore, but wherever you have all of these different things going on. Plus, you have Cirque du Soleil, you have Michael Jackson 1. You have
What
what else?
All
these
the
other-
built-in stuff
all
on
the
top
built-in
of
stuff. All the comedians that are playing. We just went and saw David Spade and Nikki Glazer last Saturday night,
Nice.
which was absolutely phenomenal too. But there's so many things to pick and choose from, so it's hard to play.
Yeah.
Here in Las Vegas, it's hard to
Yeah.
set a date and then stick to that date because you're like, oh crap, I didn't realize this was going on the same night.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. We are definitely the entertainment capital of the world.
Yeah, without a doubt,
So-
without a doubt. And now you have, Sony is now building an entire production studio here for movies. You have Mark Wahlberg, who's building one. You have Jared Leto, who's building one. And then there's
I didn't know that Leto's building one.
Yeah, Leto's out here to build one. He moved out here about. I want to say it was.
You mean it's one of his homes? Like,
well, it's funny because I was walking last Christmas. I was walking down the street and I felt like Marcellus Wallace in Pulp Fiction, dude. Because I'm walking across the crosswalk and I look to my left and there's a G-Wagon, and it wasn't Bruce Willis. It was Jared Leto.
You were
and
like,
I'm like,
this mother,
right here. And I was like, okay, so the rumors are true.
Wow.
So from what I understand, he is
cool.
out here.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it's with Mark Wahlberg to do the same,
well,
or if they're doing it separately. But there's also a fourth. There's also a fourth studio that's being out here. So this is going to be Little Hollywood on top of all the other entertainment.
Well, just in case either Mark or Jared watches a clip of this, we do have a couple of screenplays that we'd like to maybe pitch to you at some point.
Pitch them to you guys.
There you go. You see, you ain't done yet on that either. You got screenplays going and acting debuts waiting to happen.
Yep. For you too, bro. We've seen your screenshots. As a matter of fact, Alex, can we pull up some of John? No, don't pull it up right now, but I'm saying,
if you can,
we're going to drop those in. I'm putting you on the spot, baby.
Nice.
You should see his modeling pictures, Alex. Look at his modeling acting headshots.
You got to take some.
His modeling acting headshots. This man is prettier than I am.
All right, everybody. We're gonna pull it in. All right.
Oh, that is funny. That's some funny stuff. That was a long, long time ago.
We got to pull up some of your shots.
Very past tense.
Right about now. Put them around.
Now.
Check those out.
And now.
And there we go.
Stuff.
Yeah, we got it.
No, I did used to, that was what I wanted to do with my life from the time that I was a little kid.
Yeah.
As you grow and you build a family and things change. And man, when I first met Melissa, we were moving to LA. I didn't know when we were, but we were.
Planned, yeah.
And then Ariana was on her way, and it was time to get down to business, and so changed the whole perception.
Dude, you have a role for you, man. You're coming up the businessman, dude. The smart like shark of a businessman. That if that role comes up, dude, like good looking sharp businessman, been there, dude. I'm gonna be your agent, dude.
All right, dude.
I got a character. I got a character right now for you to play.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Right now,
I can fill that in. I can fill that in.
Yeah, that's funny, man. But is that it for the questions on our little chat here?
I think that might be the completion of the questions. I keep having to jump back into the Facebook page here because now there's more comments. So let's see if we can pull another one out. I had to jump into all comments here. Talks amongst yourselves, by the way, while I'm going through this. Don't worry about me. Just pretend I'm not.
It's like butter.
Just like
discuss.
It's cool. It's cool to have my brother back in town to work, to do stuff. This has been a goal of, hey, it didn't make sense to spend money and not own our masters.
Yeah.
And like, hey, let's come out here and let's work on music for other people. But now it's like, hey, we get to work on music for ourselves. So come out here. Let's get stuff done. And this is part of that weekend, of us recording music. And it's, dude, full circle, man. We're like back, not at the beginning, but, back at the beginning with all this experience, and it
feels like you guys are more energized than you ever were, knowing you guys as friends outside of the band and being a fan, knowing you guys as close friends of mine. I can feel the energy between the two of you guys.
We're getting
now
there.
That you are doing stuff on your own.
We're getting
we're
getting
one of the questions that that comes up in that, and this one's by Jonathan Mo McMichael, is why so long time, such a long time off of touring. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's actually perfect. It leads into what you just said, JB, about life, right? We had to really dig in and reanalyze and like restructure our business model, right? Because I mean, touring is awesome, dude. It is. It's funny, man. It's so funny, dude, because I text my brother like on a weekly basis about how much I hated touring, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when
just because it was hard to get from venue to venue.
Right.
You love the fans, you love performing, you love all that.
Right.
It's just such a challenge, especially when you had to move, well, go ahead. I'll let you.
No, like exactly on what you're talking about. Like, yes, like getting the shows, playing the shows, like the love that you get at the shows. It's incredible. It's not like anything you've ever experienced. And I've done a lot of goddamn drugs. Okay. Like, so it's like, it's right up there.
It's on the top. It's on the top
It's
tier.
up there. Right. And when we were doing it and we had a bus and we had a crew.
Yeah.
But because of those expenditures, because of that overhead, we were coming back with no money.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It was totally fine when I didn't have 2 kids and a wife.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite personal quotes. I was fine getting paid in booze and boobs. Like,
right.
I was totally fine with that.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that quote too.
That's a good quote.
I think that was also Marcus Aurelius.
Is that from Meditations? I think that might be from Meditations. So like, but then life hits you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we had to downscale just to make a living, to actually like come home to pay the rent, pay the utilities, put food on the table.
Not to mention you're getting older too, right? You get older, and so it's harder.
Older, yes. I mean, I
could do shit at 20 that I can't do today, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, these new up and coming bands, they can sit inside of a 4-seat car,
right, and go
throw their fucking drum kit in the back and go.
Yeah. And I mean, if now that I am a little bit older, it would be nice to be able to afford a bus where I have a bunk.
Yeah,
but we haven't been able to accomplish that. So for the last, like, now that once we had downsized and we were back in a van, that definitely would be so much more physically taxing.
Yeah.
Aside from mentally and financially.
Well, plus you can't give the best performance that you want to give when you can't get any sleep because you're going from city to city without any sleep, inside of, laying in passenger seats, right? It's hard. That's harder. And that also, you want to give the best show that you possibly can for your fan base. Yeah. And it's hard to do that.
Right. But tipping our hats to the guys who have been able to accomplish that, especially since a lot of them are older than even myself.
Well, I think Foo Fighters had mentioned that they were going to do a tour like that. This is a couple of years ago, so, and forgive me if I'm out of the realm on it, but I think that Dave Grohl like literally said, "I'm doing a
van tour
in a van."
Wow!
I don't know if they actually did it or not, and maybe
I'm pretty sure he didn't do that.
And see if they actually did that run or didn't do that run. But they had talked about doing that run. I want to say that it was like 2021. Or maybe even during COVID, they talked about
pretty
it.
Pretty sure they didn't do that run.
Yeah.
But coming back to the question about of touring, yeah, dude, we absolutely miss being out there, and we want to get out there again, but it just has to make sense. Not even just monetarily, it has to make sense mentally.
Yeah,
like it has to make sense mentally, man. More so than even the money.
Yeah.
But the good thing is the caveat to that is we can still, now that we're free, now that we're free agents and we're independent, we can still put out music, which at least lets everybody know that we ain't done yet.
True that.
Regardless of whether we're on the road or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, we're in a good spot. It's just the touring, we did it. We did it for a long time. We played the arenas. We did all the great things. We would have liked to have gotten over to Europe, but even I talked to some guys and they're like, it's still possible. It is, we're not weak dudes. It just has to be worth it, and And we realized that, and this goes back to that business question too about the industry, like always saying yes doesn't mean that they're going to get you on, they're going to help you out like on the back end.
Doesn't mean success.
A lot of the times we were like, dude, we got to say yes to this agency. We got to say yes because that's the only way we're going to, and they're going to get us later because we said yes all those times. And then the one time you say no, they're like, oh, we're done with, we can't work with you guys. It's just like, you learn these things where it's like, but we said yes to all that crap and we put ourselves through crap because it was building to something. And now we say no. And because
it feels good.
Yeah, it did feel good. But then, it's like, bye. All right, on to the next. So interesting things like that have happened. But I think we'll get a tour going again. My goal is to get a Life by Music tour happen.
Yeah.
And prove it that way and make it
so
happen.
that you can go out on tour. You can do the Life by Music stuff. Make sure you're doing stuff in the day with the kiddos and those kind of things, and then have performances.
Dude, don't be surprised if it happens.
That in the past.
Yeah, don't be surprised if it happens in a bus and it happens with a proper crew and lights and a proper show and instruments to donate and like full on. That is my dream because I want to get back out there. I still, but it's got to make sense. It's got to be worth it, and it's not going to be done because other people tell us to do it.
And the what my brother just touched on, like that, doing it in that sense would be less self-serving, right? Like it's more of it's more of a communal
like thing,
which then lends to the mental side of it. Like, okay, now we're doing this for a reason, like a good reason, not because we have to pay this manager 30% of our cloth and the agent's taking 10% of the booking fee. Like now we're going to do it for a real reason. Like something that's going to benefit not just our own egos, but communities,
Sure.
Yeah. So,
well, I have one of my own questions that I think that we can kind of finish with
let's do it.
On this. Have you guys thought about, or is there anything in the future for you guys that is possibly planned where you're doing stuff on your own without each other musically? Have you thought about that? Have you ever thought about, you guys have been together as a band as otherwise for so long and never did anything outside of that. Even the Promise, you brought your brother on that tour with you.
Yeah, he was my tour manager.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So have you guys ever thought, or are there any plans of doing things on your own outside of otherwise?
Well, my brother's already put his foot in that pond. He released with Dino De Maria.
Supersonic
Sex Spice.
Right.
Just an all instrumental, which is amazing.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I do have. I have songs that I fart around with, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't think my brother will like this. Maybe I should just record it by myself. And like, but I mean.
I think it'd be cool, dude. Don't you? I think it'd be tight. I think that
the thing is though, even if I recorded a solo album,
I'd still do the guitar.
I would still be like, my brother's playing guitar on this.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, is that
or if I recorded a song on my own, I'll be like, yo, dude, can you help me with this verse? Right. Can you change these lyrics real quick?
Well, is there anything that you'd ever look at or consider like playing for another band as a guitarist?
Yeah.
He should. And I know while you think on it, I've always said this, and other people in the industry have always told him that, dude, you can go play for any band if you really want to, you know?
Yeah. He's talented enough to where he could be, a
filling guitarist for
any other bands, right?
And he's had offers. He's had the offers.
I thought about it.
He is on the cover of Guitar Player magazine right here.
I mean, they just put any
a signed copy myself.
They just put any slap on the cover.
Right. Just any old guy.
That's a local publication.
Right.
But it's changed now. Of like, I'd like to see what it feels like to just be the paycheck guy, and not have so much invested. Right. Because like so many times I've been so upset by guys who were in the band who really it's just like a paycheck, and it's not even their fault. Like we tried to include them more, but it's like, man, I wonder what it'd feel like to just get up and play, and then just like, hey, pay me.
That's interesting too,
like,
because
I don't have to worry about shit.
Like,
just fuck you, pay me.
You didn't.
Oh my god,
your merch sales are low.
YouTube.
Yeah, merch. We worried about so much stuff with otherwise. But still,
I've never thought about it. And I've never kind of put myself in your shoes and been like, but yeah, what if I was just the guy who goes out and rocks out and just kills it, and then I don't have to worry about the business side anymore. Screw the entrepreneurial side of stuff. I just want to be, quote unquote, an employee of the band.
We've never
thought about that.
I played. So
that's interesting that you said
two shows. I played 2 shows with Rev Theory.
Okay.
When we played with them.
Okay.
One we opened for them, then another one they opened for us. And that was at the time, that was like 8 years ago.
They were a great band.
Awesome band, dude. Yeah. Awesome band. Like
awesome
those
dudes,
guys
man.
would be
awesome dudes.
It would be amazing to have those guys to talk to, because we signed indie. Mm-hmm. Our songs got pretty decently big at the time of them. Those guys signed a major label.
They signed the wasn't it Interscope?
I believe, it was
it Interscope?
Okay. They had 6-figure budgets for their music videos. Mm-hmm. They were destined to be
huge,
the next Guns N' Roses kind of thing, but I played with them, and at the time I don't know though, it really depends, because that's why I play live. Like I like being the lead guitarist of Otherwise. And that's why I haven't played covers yet.
So then that's a maybe.
It's a maybe.
All right. So anybody out there who, might be looking for
an amazing guitar player while I'm over here playing daddy daycare duty, he's available.
It's a maybe.
Maybe.
Possibly.
It's a maybe.
The music's got to be super cool, I don't know. We'll see.
I would, though, on the other tip of that, and again, outside of the Otherwise business model, right?
Yeah.
I think, and German had said this a while ago. A couple other guys did in the game, but it never went anywhere. But I would actually we sat here with a couple of young cats.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind sitting down with dudes and be like, hey, man, you got a song? Like, you want to make it not suck? Like, let me sit with you.
Yeah.
It's funny because
let me help you out with the songwriting side of it.
Jonathan Salas just hit me up yesterday. I hadn't heard from him in probably 6-8 months. I saw him when I was out getting lunch one day.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, man, I just bought a big tractor trailer, with a 53-foot, trailer on it. And that's what he's doing now. He's
trucking, huh?
He's trucking. He owns the truck. And he's all, can I park it at the office? And I told him, dude, you can park it at the office. I wouldn't recommend it, because
given the surroundings,
we've already had 3 catalytic converters stolen. This is a brand new building, as of 4 years ago. But but they're just, it's a perfect opportunity for thieves to steal from huge commercial centers like this, because there's nobody here at night.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, but I told him, I said, you're more than welcome to if you want to. Or he was even saying, hey, I'll drop the trailer.
But Salas, that guy he's got a great voice.
Incredible voice. And I know you coached him a lot on stuff.
Tried to have a hand in it. So I feel like that other side of the business could be, at least, even if it's not lucrative, it would be a motive. It would be like, I'm getting this thing out of me that I need to do, like, to feel. And this is another thing, which, not to turn this into a therapy session, but my wife doesn't fully understand yet, even though she met me on tour, right? somebody somebody said to me recently something along the lines of what you do doesn't make who you are. And I was like, actually, in my particular, again, not to make it egocentrical or whatever.
Well, it's not. You're an artist.
But in my particular case, this band and this music is exactly who I am. Like, this is what I do. Like, I'm again, and I know you love Tool.
Yeah.
I don't write songs like Maynard does about shit that never happened to him. Like, everything we write about is right here. Yeah. So it is who I am. Like, this is who I am. This is what I do. So that old adage of what you do doesn't make you who you are.
But dude, even I wasn't. He was offered some spots too of some big bands that were looking for lead singers, and they went and approached him,
like,
and were like, "Hey, what's up? What do you think about this?" And he's like, "I'm not doing it." Like, we've just kind of been that way, to a certain degree.
Well, yeah, I know that it's important what the, I guess, music is about for you. You can't just go out and do it. You can't, just go out and perform, especially somebody else's music or somebody else's thought process, because it's not you, right? You're performing what you believe in, what comes from your heart.
Yeah.
And so you can't pretend to do something else of somebody else's. Right?
Yeah. And that's a part of the thing too, for me also, is like playing guitar parts that, like, there's a different thing. Like, when I respect a guitarist or a songwriter and the song's great, one of our songs is great, I'll play the shit out of that guitar part.
Yeah.
Because I love the song.
Yeah.
But to do like a whole set without having anything to do with anything, that's really challenging for me to, like, you're not going to get the same thing that makes us good.
Right. You're not going to get the same thing.
Yeah. And
for yourself.
For you.
Yeah.
One thing Evan was just telling me,
Evan Stone.
Yeah. Another incredible artist and
genius savant.
Genius when it comes to production of music and everything else, and lighting and sound and all of those kind of things. Was just telling me that 3 Days Grace is now bringing Adam back. So they're going to have two lead singers. Yeah. And they're actually in the studio writing right now.
I hope Adam's got his own bus.
You know what? I'm sure he probably does. But I can tell you that guy is, incredible. But lending to what you were just saying about needing to be able to create your own music and not sing somebody else's. I think both of those lead singers now can create their own music and still be part of the same band. Which I thought was super interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. And we championed Matt Waltz, formerly of My Darkest Days. His older brother has been a part of 3 Days Grace for a long time. And we championed him a lot when he first took over the reins from Adam online, because people were just bashing him. And we were like, nah, dude, like, this is, so that's actually that's pretty cool to hear. I hope they can collaborate and make it work, Well,
it sounds like they've done several shows. I know over the past year, they've done shows together already. And those shows have worked out really good because Evan was on, on lighting detail for them. Wow. Creative lighting director for them.
Yep.
For those shows, and he said it was, fans were super excited about it. He actually had tickets for us for a show in Nashville last year around this same time where they were both performing. And we weren't able to make it due to our, we had a pretty stringent schedule for a general session that we were doing out there. So we missed it, but
that's going to be cool.
But I'm excited to see, how that pans out.
I would love at some point, it would be awesome if my brother put out his own record or his own EP, but then I guest vocaled on.
That would be cool.
Well, dude,
cool.
we're gonna.
He's got his own voice.
He's a great. That's the thing. His falsetto is amazing.
Yeah, he sure does.
It would be. I think I'd be more excited about a Adrian Patrick solo record, acoustic, like you're playing. Like
I got an idea for that. It would be
dude. I would champion the hell out of it, dude. Like push it, because it feeds, it just grows. And I think this has come with experience, like so many years we've been in and out of the industry and back in and out and in mainly, but mentally out. But now we're mentally, spiritually in. And it's
to this, not even the industry, to this again.
But that would be really cool, to even like Permanent Vacation, like I was saying earlier. I'm like, dude, who's playing guitar on that, dude? Is there a guy? I genuinely I was just like, dude, who's the guitarist out there? Somebody? Yeah, I was like, oh, you found a guitarist to play for you to sing, so you could sing this song and get it done. This motherfucker it was him playing and singing. I'm like, dude, this is great, man. This is exactly, if we can, it's an interesting thing. I think if we can see otherwise outside,
if we can remove ourselves somehow,
we are. It's weird. Like, how do you do that? Yeah. But it's possible,
And what my brother was saying earlier about like being a hired gun, just it's okay. Yeah, man. Let me get my paycheck. Right. There's been a handful of times when we've been basically handed a song, right?
Yeah.
Like, here's a song from this successful, they had this and this and that and that. Here's a song. And then we took that song. We were like, yeah, we're going to change this and that and this and that. Like, so we had.
Well, you're making it yours, right?
So we had to make it ours,
Yeah.
So but the thing of otherwise, the other than supposed, brother-wise, like, that's never going to go away. That's us. That's, we're so lucky to have a dude like Joe Connor, massively talented guy who has played with huge names.
Yeah.
And he moved here to Vegas, like, because he's like believes in it to a certain extent. Like, yeah,
to a certain extent. No, he believes,
like, I'm here,
he believes like we believe.
Yeah. And like you, I guess one of the things that I need and again, not to make this into
this is kind of
therapy session.
This is what the podcast is about a little bit too. Like we have guys on, and we've had heavy conversations. The tragedy that took place, Route 91. That we've had people pull up a lot of tough stuff. And when we started out, it's like, dude, it is a therapy session a little bit.
I guess it
it's
is.
Like,
yeah.
Right? I mean, at the end of the day, it's anything that we want it to be, right? We're not held down by any production company or
awesome.
any powers that be to.
Are you sure you want to say that on your podcast?
I mean, yeah. Do we want to watch our language a little bit? So that YouTube doesn't, water down our push on this thing.
And I'm not mad at that.
We do, but and I'm not mad about it either. I'm cool with that.
I could improve my vocabulary. I could stand to find better words.
I can find better words. There's another, like, we were talking about this in the break, JB, about how I read this article, a study on how minor keys affected.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
The children's, like, they did some study, and again, I don't have all of the notes on it, right?
We will not fact check on this show.
So I read the study, and maybe it was BS, but they did a study on kids, and it was toddlers, and they analyzed their brain waves, their brain activity. They played songs in major keys, and then they played songs in minor keys. And they noticed that their brain, their synapses fired considerably more in the minor keys, which are the sadder, darker tones.
Wow.
That is simply not true, Mr. Adrian Patrick. That did not happen, and it's not how it was written at all.
Wait, is this CNN?
Am I getting fact checked right now? Am I getting unfairly fact checked?
I thought that was so interesting when we were talking about that in the green room, that they follow, or they're more interested in the darker.
Not even necessarily, like, it's not even like they may or may not. They might not even like it, but their brains were registering that it was more. There was more activity happening, right?
Right.
And so my point.
I could see that though. I could understand that. you feel the darker music so much more, man.
I think so too.
Like,
I mean,
it takes more to process, dude.
But that's
feel like,
but I mean, again, though, that's not what makes millions.
you know, the irony of all talking about that is our, you know, it was cool. We got to go to the game with our dad. Our dad's a regent here in Nevada. And so we were sitting in the president's box yesterday with our dad, which was epic experience to go hang out with our pops. You know, these are the things I dream of. Hope, you know, like you, either way.
As we're all getting older, right? We want to hang out with our dad and have
much
these
as
experiences.
possible.
You know, and then we're driving back and we're playing music. And, you know, the irony is like, you guys got, your songs are noisy. Like, he's like, these are noisy. You know, our demos, like, and it's like you want songs for people to sing. You know,
right?
But then we play certain things, and you know, the "Don't Breathe" song. He's like, "Oh no, this is good. This is great." He's laughing. He's like, "This is great." But then we play "Permanent Vacation," and he's like, "This is noisy." You know, and it's like, dude, but man, talk about a guy who's been through the darkest of dark scenarios.
Yeah, you know, we should
of
probably have Patty on.
You want to open that box? You want to open that pad?
No, but you know, it's just interesting,
bro. You do. I won't be here.
Well, I can sit. I've sat and had conversation with your pops, and man, he's got some interesting stories, man.
That podcast episode will
get canceled immediately.
Primarily on Rumble.
It will be on Rumble. It will be nowhere else.
Nice, yeah.
But that would be cool. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah,
it'd be fun to do that.
Yeah. Again, this has been awesome, man. Thank you for having this amazing setup for us to come and just chill, JB.
I'm so glad to have you guys here. Huh?
That's our Cuzzo's drum.
Yeah,
it's Cuzzo's drum right there, man.
Awesome, dude. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good that we're here, and thanks to the 1,000 listeners that have been rocking with us. You know,
and Alex.
Yeah, appreciate all the support from everybody. Yeah. And Alex, Alex does a fantastic job for us on the production end of things. We don't ever want to forget to mention him.
Yeah.
And really appreciate and
1,000
hopefully
plus and growing, huh?
Yeah, 1,000 plus, 1,100 now and growing. Yeah, and you know, I couldn't imagine that many people already. I think we're 3 months deep, but you can almost ixnay about a month and a half of that because you know, we got shadow banned for a little while there.
Yeah. Right out the gate.
Right out of the gate.
Literally, like
second
our
or third episode. Yeah,
we did the 2-band episode, one episode, which we turned into 2.
Yep.
And then we got banned.
And then we got banned.
Right,
yeah.
But we're back, baby.
We're back.
I mean,
we're fired up.
We're back.
That's kind of like how us, like as a band too, you know?
Right.
Like we pull up, do really
fitting.
good.
All that stuff I was telling you guys, like, don't do that. And now I'm doing it with you.
Classic,
right?
Yeah.
Do only the right stuff. Don't do anything wrong. Don't do anything bad that could get you screwed over.
Yeah. Right. You like to have fun, though.
I do. I like it all flared up. Yeah. You told me one time when we were had a lot to drink in a golf cart that we stole on a festival. You told me it's the friction. I like the friction. You know, when the match hits the black part of the match pack, that friction, that's where I want to be all the time. And I'm like, that's a really good place to be. I like that place. I'm right there with you, bro.
Yeah, at the festival that we do not play anymore.
You're not allowed to play that.
We don't play that stolen golf
anymore. Cart and everything else. Yes.
Whatever, dude.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever,
awesome.
bro. Well, dude, great to have you guys back again. Great to have you back again.
Man,
and of course, there'll be many more on this. We promised 100 episodes deep before we decided whether or not we were going to continue this thing. So hopefully we'll have 50 more with you, brother.
Let's go. I'm here.
Right on, man.
Love.
Boom.